the environment in which we work. This is our sort of mobile van or lab. And it functions just as if we were in a hospital, except that we can move it from one place to another, obviously. And this is where we receive the specimens are brought in through the door at the back of the van, facing me, and accompanied by a card with the information that we need from the patient, all the details of the patient. And then I use the back of this to draw a little diagram of the specimen and measure it. Then we've got the measurements, we've got the specimen, we've got its number all logged in, so that there's no confusion about which specimen we're looking at. And then I will take a scalpel blade and then cut the outer margins and put them on in 4 or 5 little blocks and put them on those little chucks that I showed you earlier in the lab. And then it's taken from here to back over here where the cryostat is. The sections are cut, and then once and they're taken off. And they're put the slides are then put into this automatic stainer, which actually brings them through at a set period of time through the various stains. And they come out at the other end here. We put the cover slip on, bring them over here, look at them under the microscope. And we often, if we've got a lot of cases, or we have a lab aide as well as a technician, and the lab aide acts as an intermediary between the person cutting the sections and me reading them by handing them the stain slides to me, and to accelerate the process. As I say, we can usually do an average specimen in between 15 and 20 minutes, and then I can either then telephone the result directly through if the lab wishes it to do it that way, if the clinic likes that kind of approach, or what I prefer to do is to go in myself and and talk to the surgeon directly. When it comes to reporting frozen sections, I've seen some bad mistakes over the past with misinterpretations over a telephone. And since we're right there outside the building, there seems to be no point in doing this. So I usually go in and tell them. And I usually have my little diagram. I say, see, there at between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you've got a positive margin. You need to take a bit more. The greatest advantages of this is that the moment I go in there and I say to the surgeon, look, all your margins are clear, everything's fine. And he's able to say, thank you very much, and he can go straight away and close the patient immediately. And therefore, the patient is out of that room, and then he goes on to the next one. And sometimes, some of the surgeons, they will do maybe 4 or 5 cases in a row. They have 4 or 5 rooms, and they go from one room to the other, taking off the specimens, send them to us. And as soon as we report number 1, he goes back around the cycle again and sews up patient number 1. And that means that the whole situation is, and we did 7 this morning between 8:30 and 10:30. And the patients were all very happy about this. Because, first of all, they hadn't written off the whole day sitting around in hospital and all that sort of material. And the surgeons love it because they've got that direct control of things right there and then. And we like it because we act as consultants, not just as technicians. I would often go in there and discuss the case with them and say, well, look, this one is so superficial, you could probably just, use some local medicine to finish it off. And they say, well, that's great, because this is on the nose of a 45-year-old lady, and that would be of great help. So I think we act more than just giving them the results. We sometimes act also as fellow physician consultants with them as part of the team.